Hello! In this video I will be going over my thoughts on the new support hero Illari before she comes to competitive on the 24th of August 2023. Now, so you could obtain Illari by either grinding away to get to level 45 in the battle pass, quite a long time, or you could send some money over to Blizzard and buy some caviar for 14 things. Anyway, let's get on to her abilities. So her solar rifle, her gunblade, but they haven't really used blade part of it, but it has both primary and secondary fire. So primary fire can two-shot most heroes from about 35 meters away, and it is very powerful. It's a two-shot to the head, not to the body, so you do have to hit the head. It is a skill shot.
That's how it's done. Stay back.
But it's not as broken as it could be. It doesn't feel overpowered when you are opposing her, because it's a skill shot and it feels fair, and it's and a secondary fire is essentially a plasma beam that heals allies for 120 HP a second. It's very useful to keep a tank healthy, but can be a bit difficult to heal other targets that are smaller, like the DPS, because they move faster and they'll move away from you, and you have 15 meters range, and it can get a bit annoying. Yeah. And the way that the healing beam's charge is consumed makes it very important that you don't let the energy bar be totally depleted. If you let it be totally depleted, you would then have to wait until the bar is charged up to 100% again before you can use it. Otherwise, you can just use it whenever. As long as you don't deplete it to 100%, you can let it charging, then you can use it while it's charging. However, obviously it will stop charging and just use it from that point onwards.
Fixing that. Don't fuss.
Now, whilst it's not a long time to charge up, it can be frustrating in critical moments. It's good until you run out of it, and keeping it up can be an issue in some circumstances. Now, she can also throw a healing pylon, which I would probably describe as essentially an automatic stationary mercy heal beam. I think it fires at the lowest health person in line of sight. I don't know the range, but they've described it as a medium range, so it's reasonably far. It's not just anyone in line of sight, but it's not, you have to be right next to it, so reasonable. So obviously as Illari you have to remember to use the pylon, but you have to make sure that it's in relative safety, because obviously it can be destroyed and then it's a 12-13 second cooldown before you can throw it out again once it's been destroyed. However, once you throw it down, you can then move it for no penalty after 6 seconds. So you just pretty much just throw it down at the beginning of the fight, on a wall or ceiling if that space is available, but generally on a wall, your side of it obviously, and not where the enemy is necessarily going to push, but so you can just heal your support and any other DPS that could be there. Probably not the tank though, because the tank will be taking space. Now, when playing as Illari, I find that the pylon generally does about half of my total healing. And obviously it does require you to heal while you are dead or while you are returning from spawn, so it's basically constant healing as long as it's there and there are allies around. Also, if you see your pylon being attacked, you should probably just destroy it yourself to start the cooldown sooner. This is, you can do this from anywhere, so you can do this coming back from spawn. I don't know if you can do it while you're dead. They might add that. I haven't tried it out, to be honest. And that's her pylon. Now onto her outburst, which is her movement ability. It's quite a good movement ability. She definitely needs it. And it basically just allows you to leap in any direction you want to, forwards, backwards, left, right. You can go higher if you hold down the jump button, and it also allows you to push the enemies back from you. So if there's an enemy next to you, you can. So if there's an enemy in front of you, actually, you can hold down S space and then press the shift button, which is the key to activate this ability. And you will push the enemy backwards away from you, and B, push yourself really far backwards. So you can create a lot of distance between yourself and the enemy using that. Now onto her ultimate, which is Captive Sun, which is actually quite interesting. It's very powerful ultimate, and it's another crowd control ability, CC. That Blizzard said that they were going to at least try to reduce from the game, but it seems they're just adding in another CC, so yeah, after Casty Grenade and Made Slow. So anyway, the ability allows Illari to shoot basically just a big projectile at the enemy, which explodes on contact with either the enemy or wall, and does some immediate damage, but more importantly, enemies that are within the blast radius are going to be triggered with essentially sub-munitions, which are individually activated if the person who has been afflicted by it receives a certain amount of additional damage. Now Illari can activate this with either a full charge headshot or two full charge body shots. So it's not the easiest thing to activate, but it's not impossible. It's not going to be a rare thing that it activates. Now, so obviously the ultimate is going to be very good if there's a close group of enemies, especially as when the sub-munition goes off, it deals enough damage to everyone around it that it will cause a chain reaction of other people's sub-munitions going off. So yeah, it can cause up to probably 4 or 5 deaths. It can cause 4 or 5 deaths just through the chain reaction itself. It does quite a lot of damage. Now, obviously, if you're on the receiving end of his ultimate, it can take some time to, after the initial explosion, to actually go off. Because obviously the people need to hit their shots and you need to do enough damage. So you can out heal it. It's, to be honest, quite easy to out heal. And also the projectile is quite slow. So you can definitely react with D.Va's defense matrix or Sigma's suck or Elisa's spear. So you can definitely block it with tanks. And then also Kiriko is also a good counter, as she can just use her Suzu and cleanse the whole thing, and it does nothing, and it's not very fun if it happens. When you're playing the Illari, that is. But yeah. Anyway, now looking into 2 days into the future, and reviewing the latest dev blog, Aaron Keller did say that they'll be making a few adjustments to Illari. most likely to her pylon and to her ultimate. What I would like to see from that is probably her ult cost being increased, because I definitely do feel like she gets her ult very quickly, especially with the healing pylon constantly healing in the back. And maybe changes to a healing pylon could be like it having less HP, but it can be healed, as right now actually the healing pylon cannot be healed by anything apart from just like replacing it. So yeah, basically it could have less HP, but it can be healed at a reduced rate with Illari's beam, like with the Torb hammer, but just yeah, could be quite interesting. Although what they'll most likely do is just reduce the pylon's healing output and probably up her ult cost a bit. But overall, I am very much looking forward to Illari being added to comp, as I'll now have a support that I will enjoy playing. And to be honest, even without the further changes they're going to add to her, I don't think Illari will be game breaking when she comes into comp. She hasn't exactly been game breaking coming into quick play, so yeah, that's all well done to Blizzard anyway. But let's hope that them adding Illari will help me get into Grandmaster.